This was disgusting decorum in public bathrooms. We can skip that.
Oh, well, did something happen that you noticed and were like?
Well, I just noticed that like when I think it's you have a business place too. I mean, this might be heading a little too close to home, but it's like when you go to like if you have an office environment and it's not a single use bathroom or any type of bathroom. Actually, yeah, bathrooms at an office environment. Where it's like you really should not be doing things that should have a hazmat team have to intervene afterwards.
Did you have an experience that made you provoked this reaction from you?
I think it's where it's like you walk into like a multiple stall bathroom and you're like, did a sewage line break in here or something?
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
I'll put it. You know me. I have a strong apprehension towards solid waste.
And I think, you and I both kind of have that issue where it's like anything outside of like definitely your home.
Yes.
Maybe like if you're on a road trip or vacation, it's like you have to use the bathroom in your hotel room and stuff.
Yeah.
There's various tiers. It's like a pyramid.
I mean, on a road trip. On a road trip, if like that is reserved for gas stations, which generally will have a private bathroom.
Yes, and they have to be an absolute emergency to have to.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just the hotel room.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I mean, I can't remember. But what I was getting at is that I have such a strong aversion to this issue, but I will say that there was someone had done something deplorable in the work bathroom and left it in such a state of disarray that I actually felt I was like embarrassed for the company. And I don't know who did it, I don't care to know what the hell happened there. But it was like I didn't want the cleaning people to have to deal with. I was like embarrassed that our cleaning people would have to deal with this, so I dealt with it and was like, it was like I needed, full, like you said, full hazmat gear to handle this.
Yeah,
it was just like, what kind of this is antisocial behavior. What kind of an adult does this to a public space?
And some of those, like something like that, where it's like you kind of start thinking to yourself, are people purposely doing number two outside of their home because they don't want to have this situation at home where it's like, this is where you should be doing that stuff, where it's like just because it's a public bathroom, it's like it's also your workplace, and it's it's going to get around eventually to find out. I know who it is because I saw whose feet were underneath that stall.
See,
who's wearing those shoes.
It's funny. There are two private bathrooms in my office. There are three mix that are like one urinal, one stall, and then the women's are two urinals. Two stalls. We're very progressive.
Two urinals, two women.
But the two private ones obviously are the most sought after for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Like there are sometimes
in the hallway.
There are sometimes when there's a shoot happening down the hall and there's like just tons of people. I don't want to be peeing with like 25 people standing outside the bathroom. So I'll go upstairs and go to the bathroom. Those are the ones that end up being a complete disaster because no, you can't spy on people's shoes. The other issue for me when I was like, well, I'm just going to have to deal with this like a parent and clean up all of this shit is because I didn't want to leave the bathroom and someone see me leave and think I did that.
Guilt by association. Like, it's like, oh, I found the dead body and I pulled out the knife from their back, and they're like, oh, he's the murderer. And you're like,
yes.
Look, do you know this man? Look.
No, but like, can you imagine? Like, it's like if you don't, you're kind of stuck with that situation because if you don't clean it up, then there's a non-zero probability that you might get blamed for it.
Yeah, or you have to. It's like when you're sitting, like if you go in there and you're like, doing your own business and you're like, I'm not the one who caused this, but then you hear the door open and somebody come in there and then they're like, I can't come out now because they're going to think it's me, even though I walked in the situation also. And to top it off, like with your business, like you've got clients that come in for stuff. So it's like, if they walk in there and they're like, you know what? You guys have given us a great offer. You've offered us so many, so many parts of your facilities and so many. We've kind of talked it over, and we're gonna go with a different, contractor for this work.
We appreciate your time.
We appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. It's like, well, don't you want the fruit basket? It's like, no.
I mean, sometimes
I've smelt enough. I don't want to eat it too.
Jesus Christ. Sometimes we have so much crew in the building that it's definitely somebody that's not on staff. This time in particular, I don't remember if there was a lot of crew there or if it was like if there was plausible deniability that it was not a member of staff.
Gotcha.
But no.
And I think also like at a certain point in which like you would hope the person who's the consistent violator doing this should get a clue and be like, you really have to change up your diet. Like, you can't just keep going down to that hot dog stand every day of the work week and ordering, the Vienna beef with all the toppings and then the chili and then the cheese on top. It's like,
see,
it's going to do this.
I'm very fastidious with bathrooms. I'm the employee who I ended up buying Febreze for the bathroom, for those private bathrooms on my own accord, on my own dime. Partially because there are clients around, and it's like, you got to stock something in here. You can't just be a total free-for-all because it's not fair to anybody at that point. Yeah. So it's funny, I started buying it and stocking it, and then at some point, somebody must have said something because it magically, I don't know if somebody else took over or if they added it to the shopping list because now it shows up every couple of months.
I think like having to have something like that in the stalls is exceptionally important. Because I know we had this thing at work where it's like it's like an air Febreze deodorant thing that like it's motion or light censored. So when a light comes on or something goes by, it shoots a little thingy. But I'm like, but it's like an industrial strength, so it's like very strong at masking it. But the problem is like when it runs on a battery, and then once the battery goes, you're just like, oh god, no,
you're out
now. And you're like, when is the facilities crew going to come and like replace this and stuff
refill,
like that, yeah. So it's just something. Also, the worst part is I think also the public bathrooms, like they don't have like a proper ventilation system. Like we're in bathrooms like private home residences, they usually have like a switch,
an intake.
Intake. I know it's used a lot of times for like for showers to get the humidity out and stuff, but it also kind of helps with the smells.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like all these bathrooms are all like built upon the interior of a building, architecture. So it's like there's no random window you can just kind of crack open and get a breeze going and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, I just think that if you really have a problem, like try to go more regularly and try to do that at home. Because some of these people like. It's just like, it's like 8:30 in the morning. You're like, come on, dude. Did you really need to get Chipotle for breakfast?
Well, I mean, to be fair, there is the possibility that it is simply a medical issue. Like, it's not outside of possibility that they're just as unhappy with the situation as you are. But at least clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
Ben. It's like, I did.
And this was just the women's restroom.
This is just you investigating.
I go with the flashlight and my Sherlock Holmes hat and be like, what's going on here?
The worst, when I worked at the ice cream shop, the worst experience I had there was some woman had shoved a used pad into. They were like, it was like the toilet paper dispenser, but it was like those locked metal ones. And she had like shoved it up. And I was cleaning the bathroom, and I'm like, what's wrong with this toilet paper? It's like, and then this like bloody pad falls out, and I was just like, what? How? Who? How? Why? Why are you doing this? to people. You're doing this to the poor 18-year-old kid trying to like make some money at the ice cream store. Like, what are you doing?
My work story regarding that was that when I was working that donut place after college, and we won't say names.
No,
Krispy Kreme.
Protect the innocent.
My brother was working with me also, and there was one time, I think it was towards the evening, this older lady, probably like in her 50s or late 50s, early 60s, came in there, and she was really panicky, and she had like a walking cane or like a assisted walking thing, and she's like, do you guys have a public restroom? We're like, yeah, there's just around the corner, like you can, if you need it, you can use it. I'm not gonna kick anybody out for not buying shit. That's a stupid thing. Yeah. She's like, oh, thank you very much. So she go back there, and she goes in the bathroom there, and it was similar. It was like 1 urinal, one stall for the men's, two stalls for the women. So my brother and I are like, I don't know what's going on here, because she was in there for like good 20 minutes, and then she eventually comes out, and she comes up to the counter. She's like, oh, thank you so very much. And this woman is dripping in a cold sweat, and we're like, oh my God, what was she like? There must have been like animal sounds coming out of that thing.
Hey,
like
I mean,
braying and stuff like that. And then we're like, we have to close the store, and we have to clean the bathrooms also. So we are petrified beyond belief. So my brother's like, all right, fine, I'll go and do the thing. And he goes in there, and he comes out within like a few minutes. He's like, it was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong in the bathroom.
Well, good. Hey, it's a happy ending. Surprise ending.
Well, it's a restaurant toilet, so that thing just...
Well, and also, I mean, I assume
it's like an airlock.
Time had passed. Like, as long as the fact that you directed her to the restroom prevented the disaster. Yeah, it wasn't.
It was him cleaning stuff in there as opposed to me cleaning stuff out there on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. I did run a social experiment. I may have told this story before. A social experiment on my coworkers. One with the toilet paper. Did I tell this story?
I believe so. It's been a while. Why don't you regale that to the listeners? This is going to be a whole segment anyways.
Yeah, it is. It's like clearly this is actually a segment.
It's
now.
solid.
I was in the bathroom, and I was looking at the toilet paper, and it was the kind of business toilet paper where there's two rolls. So it's like a backup roll. They're like side by side. And I was looking at the two of them thinking, let's just for so that everyone can visualize. But I was looking at these two rolls of paper thinking this might be an interesting opportunity to... So it was like, let's say basically like this, but without, nothing's locked down. It's like, no one's worried about stealing toilet paper in my
hate
office.
all public toilet paper dispensers of any shape and form. They've never designed a good one.
It's like this. This is what we have at work. It's just these two little like free flying. So what I did was say, basically both of them needed to be replaced. So I said, I'm going to put one with the flap over and one with the flap under and see what happens. So I started watching and keeping count, but there's a lot of, gets complicated. There's a lot of variables for how this is going to work. So you start off with having it be the closer to the toilet is under, let's say, because that's technically the lesser popular option, but it's closer to the toilet then. And then the one further away is over the top. And I found basically people reach for whatever's closer no matter what. So whether your preference is over or under, the whatever roll is closest to the toilet is what people are going to reach for. And the funny thing is that, so like, I alternated and I tried like, well, let's say that there's the bigger roll is closer and over, and the smaller roll is under and further, and all of those different variables and variations on how you can set this up. And that my conclusion was that it didn't matter what was going on, the closer roll won, period. Even if there was less on it, there was more on it, over the top, under the top, whatever. So one day, there was like everyone was drinking after work, and I was like, someone was talking about the toilet paper. This was like 6 months after I ran this experiment for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they were talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, did I ever tell you guys that you guys were a social experiment, like a social engineering experiment for me?" And my boss looked right at me, and he's like, "Were you the one who was kept flipping what side was which, and if it was over or under?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that was me." And he was like, I texted the owner of the company and said, I don't care if they do it over or under. He's talking about the cleaning people. I don't care if they do it over or under, but tell them to do it consistently. So I don't know if they actually said that to the cleaning people. I highly doubt the owner would cared enough to do that. But it was just like, man,
that's good. And then you went to the store and you got yourself your 3-panel poster board and you cut out all your results and your charts, and then you presented that at your 7th grade science fair.
Yeah, it's like the Lisa Simpson doing the experiment on Bart and the hamster. Like, is Bart smarter than the hamster?
Yeah.
Ow! Ow! Hamster 2, Bart 0.
That's an old episode.
That is, well, that was back when it was good.
Yes.
Well, hopefully in the future we won't have to use toilet paper, and there will be a nice surgery to prevent us from having 3 seashells.
No, guys, out of toilet paper. And just keep on swearing and pulling out the swear tickets and use that as the toilet paper.
That always made me uncomfortable because that paper would form jagged points when folded up into, and it just did not seem like a comfortable situation.
I also think it would be like thermal paper, like they use for cash registers. So I'm like, how would that feel? It's got that weird, it's like slick, but it's not really slick type of feeling. You know?
It's not very...
It's not quilted.
No, it's not like adhesive. It doesn't like... Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Any celebrity that encourages eating at a chain restaurant is okay.
I asked Erica for Father's Day if we could potentially go and no. I told her, I'm like, can we go to Chili's for lunch for Father's Day? And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to go to Chili's because I'm like, I kind of want the baby back ribs, and like I just want to go to like an American chain restaurant because they're kind of dying. Really.
Not Chili's. Chili's is back in a big way.
Yeah. Well, I saw the Papa Meat. What was the Papa Meat video? He had a video like a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, where he went to like on a taste testing thing around, because he's from Oklahoma City, so he went to like a bunch of the chain restaurants, and he went to like Chili's and not Ruby Tuesdays. He went to Applebee's, Red Lobster, Cheesecake Factory. He's like, I don't get why. He's like, I don't understand why people hate Cheesecake Factory. He's like, you can pretty much find anything in the world you'd want to eat on the menu, and the cheesecake.
Alex, I don't get why people are mean to chain restaurants, period. I don't have a problem with McDonald's. I don't have a problem with Chili's. I don't have a problem with what's the famous chain Mexican restaurant? Are there any more? Chi-Chi's is long gone.
Chi-Chi's? Oh god, yeah, Chi-Chi. Pepe's?
Pepe's is still around, but they're such
barely
a fringe little restaurant.
I guess the only ones you can kind of consider would be like Taco Bell or Chipotle, and Chipotle is just kind of... Chipotle's no better than Taco Bell at this point. It's like, okay, you're just eating better quality, but it's the same thing.
Rice. Hey, like, to be fair, I feel like Taco Bell is the same price as
Chipotle.
Chipotle now. Yeah.
But it's also like a lot of them don't really have competition, because it's like, okay, who competes against Olive Garden? There really isn't anything.
No, there's no other like mainstream chain restaurant Italian place.
Red Lobster. There's really no competition. Yeah, there's Long John Silver every now and then, but it's like, do you ever see anybody in the parking lot of those? They're practically indistinguishable from that of like a Chinese restaurant when you never see cars in there. You know?
It's funny to me that there's no competition to Panda Express. I mean, you've got multiple options for burgers.
Well, Panda Express is even viewed by many of these, haute couture individuals as being not authentic Chinese, even though it was, founded by 2 Chinese individuals, but
Yeah, but they're Chinese American, so they don't count.
the purity test. I see how it is.
Yeah, so like
It's
Chipotle.
not good enough for the other Chinese Americans to eat there either.
Well, the funny thing is that it's usually the irony of some place like Panda Express is that whenever I see videos online of like Chinese people eating it, the young Chinese Americans are the more dismissive people, and the older Chinese grandparents,
Third generations.
they're like the older Chinese grandparents are like, yeah, it's not like really authentic, but it tastes good. And like that's kind of their position on it.
Yeah, it's a variation on something we had back in the homeland that like my mom or my grandmother used to make and stuff.
If you actually know like real Chinese chow mein, you'd be like, this is like American China chow mein.
中國抽麵嚟講咧，
Ooh, it smells like stinky feet.
係可以，非常好。
It actually tastes pretty, like, authentic. I think it's not that bad.
Wow, you never had authentic Chinese food
Yeah,
before.
this is like judged.
食呢個
呢個我哋經常食咧。
Well, and it's also like, I mean, how can you blame? I'm just saying, how can you blame Americans for this issue when in every city, in every town in the United States, there's a Chinese restaurant that is owned and run by Chinese people that has a bunch of dishes on it that were never served in China, but Americans just stumble in like, oh, I don't know, like what's good here, and then it's like here's the sweet and sour chicken and chop suey, and then like 60 years later, everyone's like, oh, naughty Americans, that's not real Chinese food. What the
Yeah.
You're the people who served it to us.
I know. And it's like, well, have you, and it's like these people, like the people who complain about it, it's like, you've never been to China. You've probably never set foot really even in a Chinatown neighborhood. And like, too, it's like, do your parents actually make any of this type of food? Like your grandma, does your mom make any of this authentic Chinese food? No, she probably just heated up kid cuisine for you because she didn't feel like cooking for you. Nor do you. And also the thing is like these young people, it's like, okay, if you're going to complain about the authenticity of like, you know, native cultural cooking. And I know we're singling out the Chinese for this point, but it's like, don't trust China. Have you ever taken up the fortitude to actually try to learn how to cook Chinese cuisine? You know, just like, I don't know. If you don't like the stuff that they're serving for you, it's like, make it yourself maybe? I mean, shit, I made kvass one time and I'm like, okay, that was more than enough fun.
Hey, I'm just saying that unless somebody lives near a Chinatown or a like Chinese population center in their part of the country, in part of the United States in particular, what are you supposed to do? You got Panda Express, all right? Like, quit busting our balls. And I'm not, and I'll be a pretentious asshole and be like, yeah, I love Chinatown, Chicago's Chinatown, and going and having dim sum and having like really authentic food there, and it's great. I feel the same way about like there's a great Thai place that I was looking because I was wondering, since I just went to have Thai food with my boss, and because he goes to Thailand like 4 times a year.
Quarterly?
Yeah, he goes quarterly.
Oh man,
Does he go to
Soy Cowboy?
He keeps saying, Brennan,
go
you need
with
to come.
him.
He wants me to go with him. No,
yes.
I don't know. I think I would die in Thailand.
No,
because he's not. He would get
Please
me into
take
trouble.
me. Could I? What if I took your? Could I take your spot on the plane?
You probably would party as hard as he wants me to.
Oh,
because you alone in Thailand with no kids or wife might be dangerous.
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah,
my boss would be like, Brendan, I'm sorry, but he went native and he's not coming back. Anyway,
I'm just hiding in some jungle someplace with like mud all over my face.
But so I was
like steaks.
There's a Thai restaurant called Roy in Chicago, a little kind of hole in the wall place, but he says it's the most authentic Thai food he's had outside of Thailand. And I've gone there multiple times, not just with him. But anyway, the food there is great, and I was thinking I would really like to have these dishes. Do I have to go all the way to Chicago to get this? Because I live really only 30 minutes outside of Chicago. And no, there is no place around me. There are Thai restaurants, but they do not sell that kind of Thai food. They sell pad Thai and pad siu and
something that's easy to make and would appeal to the mass consumer,
right?
I guess.
as a American white guy, it's not my fault. Then I can't get real Thai food around me. So, but it's like don't get upset that I like pad Thai instead. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Okay, at least you're having some of it. You know, just like you're making an effort.
I'm giving it a try.
I mean, you're not making kid cuisine at home.
Not.
It won't fit in your air fryer.
How dare you? Speaking of Mexican restaurants, though, so you made me
shit on the Mexican restaurants.
No. I was looking at these because I didn't realize that On the Border is more than like a handful of locations.
Yeah,
I like On the Border.
That's a good sit down place.
Yeah, that's the current version of Chi-Chi's, I'd say.
Yes, it is. I'd say also that's probably the biggest regional thing. We do have a chain down here by us called they're like El Toros. There's a bunch of like Toro Bravo, Toro 2. Excuse me, I think they're all it's like a family owned place, and they've got several locations, and I guess they're the better of the biggest of the sit down ones. There's a few other ones that we kind of enjoy also. But we've been to several different ones, and it depends on, some people have their preferred location as opposed to just, going to one that's pretty much the same menu here and there. But right, I feel like the quality of how it's made and stuff might differ amongst location to location.
So there's Uncle Julio's. I've been to that place before. But other than that, in terms of Taco Bell, Chipotle, Qdoba, I think there's one more in Chicago. I think most of those closed.
Yeah, I don't know if there's Qdoba still here. I think we had a few. We do have a Most Southwest Grill. I think 2 or 3 I know of. Del Taco. I've heard of Del Taco. I think there might be like a West Coast thing.
Yeah, seems like it would be.